What's going on, you guys? Simpsons Man here again, and we are back with another one for you. As you could read from the title, this is going to be 20 things that you may or may not know about The Simpsons. A lot of these you may or may not know. I mean, I pretty much knew, I think, every single one of these except for maybe about 3 of them. I did my fair collection of research online, and yes, there are a ton of videos and write-ups about these, but you know, I just kind of looked at a couple of them. I just wanted to know some from myself, some that people have actually asked me before in the past, and I was like, you know what? I've been kind of putting this list together for about 6 months now, so I originally had about 30 something of them, but I just knocked it down to 20, so I have them written down on some I do not know, but I'm just going to kind of wing it. But here we go, guys. So 20 things that you did not know about The Simpsons. So we're going to kick it off, and we're going to start off with Cletus and Brandine Spuckler. Now, they have been deemed as related. They are definitely siblings. And they definitely have a lot of kids. So does that mean that The Simpsons promote incest on their show? Maybe I wouldn't say promote, but definitely this is some incest shit. Cletus and Brandine, they have 40, 50 kids together. They got dogs. They live in a house. They're white trash. A lot of people call them yellow trash. But yes, they are... You know, they're related, and it's been shown on the episode before, calling her my sister. And so yeah, I wanted to kind of start off with that one just to kind of get the nasty one out of the way, because you know, incest is, you know, pretty disgusting, obviously. So let's kick it up though. Let's kick it up to a better topic. So the next one is gonna be that Krusty the Clown. So this is a good one. A lot of people know this one already. Krusty the Clown was supposed to be Homer. So if you look at a lot of the earlier episodes, I think just maybe even season 1, you know, obviously they were drawn and made identical so they could be the same person. It was supposed to be Homer in disguise this whole entire time. But, you know, once they realized, like, these two characters are kind of iconic, like, no, we're going to drop the idea and make them their own separate characters. They still kept, you know, if you're trying to draw Homer, you're going to be pretty much drawing Krusty at the same time. You just got to put a little bit of coloring on him, and then obviously the hair for Krusty. And obviously, a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know this either, but the inspiration behind Krusty the Clown, Matt Groening was saying one time that the TV clown is it's from a TV clown in Portland, and his name is Rusty Nails. But you know, they weren't going to call him Rusty on The Simpsons show. No one wants to be called... I mean, this is a cartoon. Rusty almost sounds like a dog or some, like, grifter or something. But no, they don't... They just want to... They don't want him as that, so they'd like to just call him Krusty. So they decided just like, you know what? We're going to call him Krusty the Clown. And just kind of sliding into the next one here, talking about people supposed to be other people. Marge. So no, Marge is not supposed to be someone else, but if you guys ever played the arcade game, the original Simpsons arcade game, whenever she does an attack, or I don't know if it's an attack or she kind of grabs like onto her hair, or no, I know what it is. It's when she gets electrocuted, you could see that she's a rabbit. So the whole like Life in Hell from Matt Groening and the whole rabbit idea and everything else like that, she's a rabbit. Like, now, if she transitioned, well, I don't want to get in that topic, but you know what I mean. Like, if she, I've read so many theories about this, and like, you know, it's just a weird topic. But you know, she had the bunny ears. So what is she? Half human, half rabbit. You know, when she gets electrocuted, she's, you know, you can see it's a full rabbit underneath that costume of hers. So is Homer married to a rabbit? That could be a whole nother fan theory video, which I think we might be doing one day. Maybe we'll put that on the podcast, or we might have to talk about that, but you guys decide. Marge is a human or a rabbit? I'm just going to go with human, because who knows? She might have got that surgery done, and yeah, that wouldn't be possible, but oh well. So, next one that we're going to talk about is two characters. They were very iconic. One of the two being, actually, they're both one of my favorite characters. We're talking about Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure. I really miss both of these characters in the show because, kind of like Gil. Gil's still on the show, but they kind of had that esque to the show that's kind of like a side character, but very, very hilarious. And they have their own little quirky things. Lionel Hutz is always just screwing people over with his lawyerness. That's not a word. And for Troy McClure, just always doing his infomercials and on TV, and those were golden. But, unfortunately, when Phil Hartman died in 98, they retired all of his characters. And, it really sucked when they did that. But that was, that's the right thing to do. A person, he passed away, and, the characters that he did, they retired them. And, it's just the right thing to do. You do, however, see them on episodes still, but only in a crowd shot. And I think that whenever they start phasing out characters, you'll notice that, because I've noticed that they're doing that with Apu also, now that they're doing the whole weird Apu thing. So next time you guys are watching an episode, watch for that and see, and you might see a Lionel Hutz or Troy McClure just way off in the distance. So the next thing is going to be the let's talk about Maggie, since we're kind of rolling around through some of the family. And I did talk about this on one of the episodes. Someone actually asked me this on one of the Ask the Simpsons mans. But whenever they used to ring up Maggie on the cash register, back when the show first started, she rang up as $847.63. So that price was just estimated on how much does it cost to raise a baby for a whole month. So back in 1989, they estimated that was the cost of raising a baby. Well, once the 20th season of The Simpsons kicked off, they kind of swapped their price around a little bit. They changed it up. I know they had the groceries at about $243.26, but whenever Maggie gets thrown over the cash register, it doubles the total. So it doubled it out to $486.52. So, it's obviously different with every family raising a kid and everything, but these are just numbers that they based this off of 1989 and then, 20 years later. Next topic, kind of going through some of these quicker because this video is going to wind up lasting an hour. We're going to talk about, okay, so The Simpsons, it's kind of hard for them to stay super, super relevant with things going on. So if you watch South Park, or I'm just going to say South Park because I can't think of anything else, if they have something in the news going on right then and there, oh, Trump did this today, blah, blah, blah. If a new South Park episode is airing that week, sure enough, they're going to be talking about that. But with The Simpsons, it takes them, give or take, 6 months to create an episode from scratch. Now that's a full episode. They do a lot of their outsourcing overseas and they bring them back over here to finalize the episodes, but they're not able to do that. So if something crazy happens tomorrow, they're not going to be on Sunday. They're not going to have some crazy, thing that happened right away. Now sometimes, which I've seen, is they will alter the couch gags and they'll have something. I remember whenever they had, I don't remember the name of this dance, but it was the music whenever the music was going off and then everyone was in costumes and going crazy. I remember when that craze was going on about 5 years ago, and The Simpsons did a couch gag of that, and that was actually pretty funny. So yeah, I didn't realize it took them that long, but 6 months or so to create just one episode. We'll kind of run through a couple smaller ones that I had put together next. Maggie, we were talking about Maggie earlier again. She does the sucking noise for her, because she doesn't talk, and the person that actually does that noise is Matt Groening, so he's the one, the voice, quote-unquote, behind Maggie. Sideshow Bob, his real name is Robert Underdunk Terwilliger. I didn't know his middle name was Underdunk, but I did know his name was Robert Terwilliger because they do reference that on a lot of episodes. Another fun fact is Springfield. So, now we know where Springfield is, but from back in the day, when they had to choose a city for the Simpsons to live in, they wanted to choose a city like Springfield, because if you just type in Springfield, USA, you're going to find, and I haven't typed this out, but you're going to find at least like 10 or 20 different cities all across the United States that say Springfield. So they did that just to keep the fans guessing, and I know throughout the episodes, especially throughout the first like 20 seasons of the episodes, they had so many times that like Homer or Bart would point to a map, or they would start saying something and then automatically get interrupted right away, just to kind of keep them on edge, saying, hey, where's it at? Because I know I live in Florida, and there's a Springfield in Florida. Obviously, that's not where the Simpsons are from, but I'm just saying like they did that. Another interesting fact about the couch gags. That a lot, now this was back in the day, this might not be as much as what they do now, but a lot of the couch gags were based on the episode. So they would run the whole episode, they would do their series of cuts, because each episode has a few, probably about a minute or so cut out, just so they could air it on TV, and they would say like, hey, team, we have about a minute and 15 seconds left to work with on the couch gag. And then, okay, so now all of a sudden you have a minute and 15 to work on the couch gag. Okay, well, we have, we just did about 45 seconds worth of couch gag. Okay, well, let's put 30 more seconds back of the uncut or the cut episode back in the show. And that's how the couch gags work. Now, that's how they used to work. Nowadays, they go crazy with these couch gags. They're getting different artists, and they're getting different celebrities to be in them. So now a couch gag is, it could be like 3 minutes long, where some of those earlier couch gags were, skateboard, car, Homer through the door, boom, everyone on the couch, like, it goes really, really quick, 15, 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. I've never timed it, but it used to go really quick. We'll talk about Lisa. Actually, we'll talk about the kids real quick. Lisa's first words. So Lisa's first word was Bart, and Maggie's first word was Daddy. And Bart. So Bart's first word was Ay caramba. And they do show it on the season, or they do show it on The Simpsons when Homer and Marge are doing it, and Bart walks in his diaper and a bottle, and he's drinking his bottle, and takes his bottle out, and he's like, ay caramba, and yeah, and that's pretty much like his first word right there, or that is his first word. Talking about Maggie, she has that stuffed bunny, and the stuffed bunny is actually one of the characters from Matt Groening's comic strip, The Life in Hell. And I actually did run across a few of these books, and I'm going to be doing a video on my YouTube channel real soon about a couple of his books, because if you look through them, you will see that all of the Simpsons are pretty much based on these books. Obviously, it's Matt Groening that did them. One interesting fact that I did not know, and I probably should have fact-checked this just a little bit more, but I did see it on 3 different websites, so we'll just, we'll call it good for right now. But Moe didn't have a last name. His last name they gave him was Sislak, but the only reason that they gave him the last name Sislak is so his initials would be MS. And the reasoning why behind that is because of the whole episode with the shooting of Mr. Burns. So when everyone saw the MS, they had other characters they wanted to put the blame for also, one of them being Moe Sislak. That is an insane, I wouldn't say theory, I guess that could be a fact, but I just never knew that at all. Another simple fact that, everyone knows is God and Jesus are the only characters in The Simpsons that have 5 fingers. Everyone else has 4. Even all the celebrities that come into the show that are quote-unquote real-life people, all 4 episodes. Something funny that I saw online, that they were talking about Homer going, dope, whenever he says that. Well, if you watch it in different languages, like in French, he says toe, like T, O-H. And then the Spanish version actually translates just to the word ouch, which we know that's not what dough means. It could mean that, I guess, but it's more of a mistake or a oops or I don't know. There could probably be a lot of meanings for that word, but that was a thing for just the different languages. You might have noticed that from back in the day, Smithers was actually black. which was, pretty crazy. But they decided that a black character might be a little controversial, so they went ahead and just turned him yellow, just like all the other Simpsons characters. They also wanted to keep the yellow Simpsons on there because they thought that it was more of an attention grab. So if you're, back in the 90s, early 90s, just spamming through some channels, you saw a bunch of yellow characters on your screen, you're probably going to stop and be like, yo, what are these guys? Versus, everything that's all the same color. And Matt Groening did talk about that at one of his Comic-Cons, about how he wanted to change it. Like, that was why they were yellow, for just attention grabbers. We're going to just do a few more. We're milling on 15 minutes right now. Ned Flanders, he is actually 60 years old. It was in one of the episodes that I think it was whenever they went to Vegas, and Homer was talking about how he hasn't lived a day in his life. Homer calls him out in church because he got a discount at a car wash. Well, Ned was, he stood up and he was like, well, I'm 60. And everyone was like shocked and surprised, and then they were asking him questions like, damn, how do you do it? And he just said, he lives a little weak life. Like, he doesn't do anything. He resists all urges, he says, and that's why he's 60 years old and he looks like he's damn 25, 30 years old. Next one is just a real simple one. Bart. They chose the name Bart or Bartholomew, but they did choose the word Bart because it was an anagram for the word brat. And, back in the day, or still to this day, he's a little asshole. He's a little brat. He's always getting in trouble. And another fact, just to kind of piggyback off of that, is they had a shirt on the, way back in 1989 that said, I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you? And they actually had to ban that in so many different schools because of just the word hell on a t-shirt. Pretty crazy, because nowadays they probably would not care one bit. If you're ever at Springfield Elementary, which obviously will never happen, but for some reason, if you figured out how to get on top of or into a TV show or into a cartoon, Bart's locker combination for his locker at school is 36 24 26, and also those numbers are recited in AC/DC's Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Not sure if maybe one of the writers were like a big AC/DC fan. I could see most of them probably were from back in that era, so I think they just kind of did that as just kind of a nice little Easter egg. And last but not least, Bart loves to prank Moe. There's been, 10, 20 different times at least that I could see that he's, called up Moe, did his little prank. But every time he dials the number, and he dials Moe's number, which is 764-84377. He dials an extra number for some reason. When it's on an old phone, these numbers spell out the word Smithers. Is there any kind of relation to that? Probably not, but it was a kind of a fun little fact. And there you go, guys. There's 20 random facts or possible facts that you did not know about The Simpsons. I myself did not know a few of these, so some of these are pretty interesting. I want to say that my favorite fact out of all of them, we'll do two. My favorite fact that I already knew out of all of them is Marge being a rabbit. Like, why? I'm still kind of confused about that, and I wish they would just kind of speak on that, because the arcade game was 100% based with the cartoon. It's not like they made Homer like a walrus or something, and then all of a sudden he's regular. Like, no, it was the characters on the show. They were beating up bad guys. They were going through the levels. Like, they were characters on the show or on the game, and then they're on the show at the same time. But having them make Marge a rabbit and then never them really addressing it on the show. Maybe they have, but I just don't remember off the top of my head. So that one, I already knew. That was one of my favorite ones. The one I did not know, and I guess I'll have to kind of fact check this with some more, was the, I Shot Mr. Burns episode. With Moe, with Moe Sislak, with his last name, with the MS. Now, there is a nice little fan theory, and I'm going to start reading into this a lot more, and I'm going to do a video about just who shot Mr. Burns, because now the newest theory is that Marge Simpson actually shot Mr. Burns. Not Maggie, but Marge. It's very hard to even fathom that a baby shot Mr. Burns. Getting your finger on the trigger, pulling it, like, it it's not an easy task to do for a baby, and there's a lot of like quote-unquote evidence kind of pointing towards Marge, so I'm gonna look a little bit into that. But we're rolling at about 20 minutes now, guys. I don't want to bore you too much, even though this has been a 20-minute nice little video. But until next time, guys, just thank you so much for listening in on these. Thank you so much for watching them if you're doing this on YouTube or if you're just listening on SoundCloud. Well, until next time, guys, thank you so much for all your support, and have a good one.